Good morning, Elin. Thank you really for coming to the Australian National University and for participating in our roundtable discussion on Marawi behind the headlines. That was very engaging discussion, and I think really let's have this opportunity again to really to allow you to articulate more your perspectives on what happened on Marawi. So again, Eileen, and by the way, I'd like to introduce, of course, Eileen to all of you. She is currently a PhD student at the University of Melbourne. But of course, Eileen has been very active with advocacy in the Philippines. She is with Mindanao State University. And of course, she led this initiative, Balik MSU.
Yes, balik emisyo sumumbag tano sa pantawa marag
So,
sa Deep Marano, meaning let us be enlightened at Mindanao State University.
okay. So now, Elin, again, can you tell us why the siege happened in Marawi? Why Marawi particularly?
Well, there are many points that we can cite, but I will only discuss 2 points for lack of time. But obviously, we can say that it is because of the two brothers who are members of a powerful clan, and they hail from Butig, but they live in Marawi City, and they espouse an ideology that is different from the rest of the ordinary Maranos, the locals, and they want to dictate their own narrative towards the people of Marawi. But underlying that is also the decades of government neglect, failed peace agreements, and historical injustices that make the whole of Lanao del Sur, not just Marawi City, a fertile ground for recruitment from the young generation of Maranos and probably other sectors of the society who feel that they have legitimate grievances, real or imagined, that need to be addressed and are not being addressed. So although they do not necessarily comprise a majority, but their impact is nonetheless, as we are now seeing, horrendously devastating.
In the aftermath of the Marawi crisis, especially immediately after the first few days, we could, I mean, we are here in Australia, we could read a lot about the uproar from our kababayans in Manila, in Mindanao, and we see a lot of this blaming, shaming about Maranaos
Yes,
or
yes,
those
yes.
living
It's
in
very
Marawi.
unfortunate.
Yeah, so Elin, what can what would you like to tell our kababayans, not only in the Philippines but in the whole world, listening to this?
Well, to our kababayans, if you hate us, if you blame us, and not even offer a word of comfort, then those who want to pit us against each other would have already won. Marawi's buildings and houses will be rebuilt, inshallah, one of these days. These are mere physical structures, but let us not uh, make our hope for a peaceful coexistence crumble with the buildings of Marawi City. The people of Marawi City will survive, I know that. We have survived colonialism for 500 years. And our kababayans, this is now the time and the privilege given to them to stand with us, to be with us at the time that we need it the most. Any other time, that would have been irrelevant because we have already risen from our status right now. So more than the relief goods that you sent to us, thank you very much for the support, for this loudspeaker that will reach the world. More than that, we ask you that you stand with us firmer as we both refuse hate, disunity, and apathy to triumph. Marawi City may be far from you, but as Filipinos, we are in the same boat together. We are in it together. We may sink ahead, but eventually the whole boat will sink if we do not look out for each other.
Thank you, Eileen. You mentioned something about the destruction of Marawi, the bombings, how it practically destroyed the whole of Marawi. But can you tell us in more detail the impact of the siege? and of course the arm, the military operations ongoing, the skirmishes that's now happening to the people of Marawi, and how they perceive this crisis, how they are managing, how they are coping. And we understand, of course, that you are from Marawi, and of course your family and your family's family and friends are deeply affected by this crisis.
Yeah, my family, like my own family, are scattered all over Mindanao, and that is just my family alone. And we're lucky because we have relatives who were able to take us in, but others are not very lucky, so they stay in evacuation centers that are already filled to the brim, filled to capacity, and the need is just so tremendous that not even the combined forces of all the NGOs, all the international organizations such as the ICRC, the local government, and the DSWD are able to address every single need of 600,000 people. So the need is so great, and we are just seeing the real impact as these siege drags on for 3 months. So the physical impact, they are at evacuation centers, but the impact on their self dignity, their self worth, their their sense of being a responsible part of the society, able to cope, able to stand for themselves. That is a different story altogether. For instance, there are OFWs feeling so positive about the administration, came home and wanted to start their own business, only to lose everything. No credentials whatsoever available for them to reapply for jobs, and they are at the evacuation centers. And these are capable human beings. They have earned so much, and they're ready to start their new life in the Philippines, and boom, it's gone. So we are like looking at 600,000 individual stories, and not many stories are out.
Elin, so of course there are talks now about putting up lots of billions of money in Marawi to rehabilitate it. So what do you think should be the utmost priority for the people now in Marawi? What should be prioritized in terms of rehabilitation, in terms of their needs?
That's a very good question. But really, I don't want to speak for my people because I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
The best thing that the government should need to do is involve the people of Marawi City in the discussion of the rehabilitation. So even I myself, I don't want to answer for my people because I'm here. I'm a little bit far. So that's the first thing. How can you rehabilitate the city without asking the people concerned, what do they want, what do they need? Well, apart from the fact that they need homes, they need to rebuild their own lives, but they need to own the rehabilitation. It's not like something, boom, a very beautiful city offered to them. They have to be part of the narrative. They have to be part of the rebuilding. Otherwise, it is something that they will not recognize themselves in it. So rebuild Marawi City, but let us reclaim the soul of Marawi City with it.
Thank you, Elin, for your perspectives. But maybe one final word. What can you tell our leaders about this crisis? What would you like to tell them?
I only have one statement, and that is listen to the people of Marawi City with your heart.
Thank you, Elin, and thank you for participating in the ANU Philippines project.